So we had a pickup day where we could go grab some stuff from our classroom. So I decided to grab some toys, and basically I could show you some simple games that we do, and games that you could do because I'm sure you have these things at your house. So the first game that we play sometimes, this helps with memory and also identification. I grabbed a bunch of animals here. Let's see that. So this is a game called Who is Missing. You can do this with any object. We just typically do it with our animal friends. So you can do this with as many animals as you want. Usually we do 3 to start, and then I'll add in another one. So let's say we have our giraffe, duck, crocodile, and whale. We would sit in a circle and put these in the middle of the circle. We talk about them, we describe what color they are, where they live, what sounds they make, things like that. Once they kind of have gotten used to seeing all 4 of these animals, they all close their eyes, and I take one away. And then they all open their eyes again, and they have to guess which animal is missing, who is missing. You could also make this harder by taking more than one animal out, or you could switch a different animal in and say who changed, things like that. And they're not very good at closing their eyes, so I do recommend, they like to peek. I would recommend just doing it behind your back real quick if you're doing it one-on-one with your child. But yeah, that's a fun game. And then you could see if they want to challenge you, see how good your memory is. They definitely like taking turns being the teacher sometimes. Another activity, that we do with the animals sometimes. You could also do this with any other toy, action figures or anything that's not just like a ball. We take these rubber bands, and I would just wrap it around the animal like that. Make it. Sometimes I make them really challenging, sometimes I make it really easy. 1, depending on the child, and 2, depending on how much supervision they'll need. So I do recommend sitting right there with them when they do this activity. 1, because you don't want the rubber band to snap. You can scare them. 2, because if they put them in their mouth or tie them around their wrist, like we always watch whenever we're doing anything with rubber bands or hair ties, we always keep a close eye because you never know where they're going to put these. So then their task would be to save the animal. So it's really good for their fine motor skills, and also the more rubber bands you layer, that will really make them think about which rubber band they have to take off first, which will make it easier. It's really interesting to see because some kids will try to rip them all off, and some will take their super slow time. We let them do it however they want. I just think it's really great challenge for them. Another thing that we do that I'm assuming you have candles at home. I get different wax melts from the grocery store, and we just pass them around. We talk about their favorite scents. I'll give them a choice between 3 or 4, and they pick their favorite. This one is pina colada. I would just ask them what they think. Probably say coconut. And this one is lemon. That one smells good. So sometimes I do this themed to the time of year. So in the spring, I'll do a couple of different flower ones, and then they'll pick their favorite flower, which color they like the best. In the fall, we do pumpkin, apple. We'll do like red apple, green apple, things like that. And then in the winter, we have one that's like cozy sweater, hot cocoa, things like that. And sometimes they will just sit and smell them, and it calms them down. They just think it's really cool. They like that one. I realize this one might be hard if you don't have Velcro at home, or if you don't have these popsicle sticks at home. But it just is a good example of they can build with anything. So what I did is I just took Velcro, I stuck it on all sides of the popsicle stick, and they build with these. With these ones, usually we do shapes. So I'll ask them to build a triangle, That, or sometimes they just like to stick them together and make one long worm, whatever, but they really enjoy that one. This is one that I saw on Pinterest before, and the kids actually really loved it. It's really good for their fine motor skills, and they tend to focus really hard in it. As you can see, I'm focusing really hard too. So I cut straws into small pieces, and it's good if you measure beforehand so you know, like, you don't want to cut this piece of straw longer than the Q-tip. And their goal is basically just stick the Q-tip in, pull it out, push it through the other side. Yeah, we have a whole bunch of them, and that's one of our centers. Another thing with straws that we do, this is a coffee can that my class 3 years ago made. They just had them color it, decorate it. On the top, I put holes, and obviously you can tell this one's a little old, but I put different colors on the top, and then I have colored straws. So their goal is to match the straw, put it in the right one, push it all the way through. And then the easy part is once they've done all the straws, you just take the lid off, dump it, start over again. This is a good way to practice matching colors, but also you could have them identify the colors as they put the straw in. You can make it tricky, do different colors, do black and white, do like a turquoise color, add in pink, however you need to make it appropriate for their level. Pom-poms. This might be another one that I'm not sure if you have at home, but you can also just use anything like pennies or any small objects that they have, small toys. They like to use these. I thought a fun thing to do with them, which this was on my plan for the next couple weeks, was to use different parts of their body to move the pom-poms into a cup. So if you're at home, this is great. They can take their shoes off, do it with socks on, do it with socks off, try to pick up the pom-poms and put them into a cup. Their feet, you could do it, okay, say, now you can only use your elbow. Now you can only use your nose. So you could do things like that, make it a little interesting. And then I do have some activities here. We do yoga once a week. Sometimes we have someone, a yoga teacher, come in and do it with the kids, and sometimes we just do it with the kids ourselves. So I'll do a separate video on our yoga routine. Since we can still go outside, it would be good to use your resources. Use sticks, rocks, leaves, anything you can find outside. You can go on a scavenger hunt. I thought it would be cool if you could like collect rocks and paint them, make a mandala, anything like that. Search for colors outside, different colors you can see. There's the mirror game, which helps the kids practice recognizing emotions, but also it just gets their brains thinking, and so they can copy you. So the way this works is you just sit right across from them. You can get your faces as close as you want, as long as you're family. And you make a face and see if they can copy it. So you could go, or we would do happy, sad, angry, and then once they get really good at that, you can add in motions with it, and you can almost make it like a dance and have them reflect your emotions. Sensory bottles. They love sensory bottles. The main ingredients that I use in sensory bottles, I mean, you can look this up online and see so many different things you can do with sensory bottles, but I usually use oil, water, hair gel, glitter. You can put pasta in there. Anything small that will fit. I use a water bottle, works well. Mini travel bottles work well. and also like coffee creamer containers work. This, obviously it's not empty yet, but this like kind of container is really good. Anything that's clear like that for them. And then if you do have a hot glue gun at home, I do recommend gluing the lid on just in case they're playing with it unsupervised, or they figure out how to open it up really quickly. So for some health and wellness, if you can go outside, great. If not, there's some indoor things you can do. You can set up an obstacle course, take all the couch cushions off and make it a giant balance beam. That's always fun. One activity is to make them aware of their heartbeat. So have them feel their heartbeat, boom, 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 and then say, now we're going to do jumping jacks for 1 minute. After that 1 minute, have them feel their heart again and see if they can tell the difference, how it's beating so much faster. They're always fascinated with that. When we do dress-ups, they always love playing with the stethoscope, so they really enjoy that. Another game is called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is where you can use this with anything. We do it with the senses. You could also do it with colors. So they would sit in a spot in the room, and they would look around and think about 5 things that they can see, 4 things that they can touch, 3 things that they can hear, 2 things that they can smell, and 1 thing that they can taste. Now, if you want to do it with colors, you could do 5 things that are red, 4 things that are orange, 3 things that are yellow, do shapes, whatever. So for some art ideas, I know it can get boring if they're just coloring, painting, things like that. My kids really enjoy dot markers, but I know that not everyone has them. So some things that you could do, if you're looking to go outside, they like painting with water, and that's great because it just dries and then you have a fresh canvas all over again. So at school we usually paint on the fence with water and then let it dry. You could paint, you could do it on the side of the house. For inside art, if you have dry erase markers, this is obviously supervised. This would be a fun thing for them to do, drawing on the windows or on mirrors or any surface that's not porous enough to absorb the dry erase marker, obviously. So that's really fun for them because it's sensory and it's different than what they're used to. Also, if you want to do something that's different with what they're used to, you could tape paper to different surfaces. So on the wall, under the table, have them lay under the table and draw, color, paint. Obviously, some things need more supervision than others. Yeah, so those are some of the activities. And if you have any specific requests, like you want to see some gross motor stuff that we do, some science stuff that we do, I can definitely do videos on that. I can do some science lessons, experiments on camera, things like that. So yeah, hopefully some of this was helpful to you and that you can do some of these things at home with your child.